welcome to another video of Vibing with Via. It's almost 1 week post funeral, and I am in a better space. I'm not going to say much better because that would not be truthful, but I'm in a better space because I understand no more than ever that the work is here to be done, because everybody would have been left with the charge of being the best versions of themselves. Now, today's video was actually, or should I say not was, but today's video is actually inspired by a message that I found coming from Mummy Daffs as I scrolled through my phone. Our chat messages are still open. I don't think I'm going to close it because in the content of these messages there's so many things to learn, guys. And I came across one that was quite interesting, and she said to me that sometimes God is talking to us in very plain language, but we don't want to hear what is being said. And I remember responding to her and I said, Mommy, the quicker people recognize that, and get in tune with the universe and get in tune with the Creator. And I'm not suggesting deep underwater. That was a conversation she and I were having. Just a sense of mindfulness. The quicker persons recognize that, the better it will be for people and the world generally. And she agreed. Now, it's interesting to me how things work, how things are aligned, because here it is that I was reading that conversation and I had to go on the road, and in going on the road I ran into someone that I've known for quite some time now, and we were just chit-chatting, we were just talking and coming up to speed with everything that's going on in our lives in as quick as possible, because you know how it is when you're on the road, but you see somebody that so you have to just bless up the person and talk about a few things. Now, what's interesting to me is that the dominant theme coming out of that conversation was the whole idea of being stuck in a rut. Follow me. Being stuck in a rut. That's what I got from the conversation. So this individual would have been trying a number of things as it relates to life, as it relates to health, as it relates to wealth, as it relates to family, as it relates to friendship, just everything that makes us really tick, even as it relates to spirituality. Let me not leave that out because it actually came up in the conversation. And it was interesting to hear the person say, but it seems to me that every single time I walk through a particular door, the door is constantly being closed or the door becomes ajar. And I am listening, and in my usual sense, if you know me, my words are going to be those that are encouraging, those that are uplifting, me trying to say, try to find yourself, and of course, me trying to say, hey, you know what, it might be rough, but in all things, you still want to put the Creator first, you still want to put God first. That was what I was saying, and the person was receiving that message. When we were walking away now to say our kudos or goodbye or whatever you want to call it, he says to me, it's hard. And I said, what is hard? And he says, when you say to me that I am to put God first, and I say, what do you mean? Naturally, you're gonna put God before. You put God first and second and third, and what happen? Blessings come forth, right? We know that sort of things. Say, big up Assassin Panda one day, Agent Sasko, on that song, beautiful song, right? And he says, well, I've always been doing that, but no matter how I put God first, the door is either ajar or the door is closed. And in that moment, I said, well, maybe that is just your testing. And that's where I left it, and I had to leave. Driving home, I started to think about what was said again. And I'm saying to myself that, what's interesting? So many persons are caught in a rut. That's what it is. They're caught in a rut. And they're caught in a rut because maybe how they believe that life should be unfolding is not how it is unfolding in this moment. Maybe what they're trying to do is to write their own plan and to create their own design for the dash that we're here to run, without recognizing that it is really not of us, without recognizing that, as Mummy would tell me, that God is in control. without recognizing that every single thing that has happened to us in this life, in this season, has really and truly happened for a reason. But how do we see these things? Do we embrace it or do we curse it? Maybe even when things are not right, we should be the one to get up and give thanks and say, well, God, continue to order my step, lead me and guide me, so that at the end of the day, whatever it is that I am doing will be to your will, it will be to your purpose, and ultimately, great things will come out of what it is that I am doing. But so many persons are stuck in a rut. Think about some of the things that you would have been doing, and in your mind, you figure that, oh, I'm so positive. And I've had this encounter with people all the while who pretend to be positive. Oh, I'm so positive, and God first, and this and that, and Ray and Tay, and I'm listening to them, and I'm like, I don't know who you think you're fooling. You're having a conversation with them, and you show them an alternative view, and the first thing that they do is to become pessimistic in that moment. You're stuck in a rut because your mind is not open to hear different things. Your mind, most importantly, is not open to listening to different things. Listening does not mean that you're going to be in agreement. Listening doesn't always mean that you're going to be in acceptance. But sometimes, right there in that valley, the things that sound to be so absurd and so left-wing might very well be the message that the good Lord is sending you through a messenger. But you're so caught up in your own headspace that you fail to recognize that, hey, the voice that you hear coming from you is not the voice of Via, is not the voice of your mother, is not the voice of your sister, but that is the voice of God, right? This is the direction that you need, but you're too stubborn and you're too caught up in yourself to pay attention to that. Stuck in a rut. I want to tell you that there's another thing that I have seen, and this one is so interesting to me. You see me? There are very few persons in life that I can say that I've fallen out with. And I think I've done a video on this before when I talk about friendship, and I said to you that saying that somebody is a friend is not something that I take lightly. It's not a term that I use loosely. And maybe in my entire existence, there has been two individuals that I just not deal with. When I say not deal with, I not deal with. I don't even need to, well, I am not in the presence of that person, and I'm not trying to be in the presence of those persons rather, so that I even have to go have manners to be like good morning or good afternoon or whatever. I don't need that. Let me tell you something about life. We sometimes put ourselves in a rut because we are embracing and hugging up demons. The devil comes in different formats. Today, I was delivering a lecture on Caribbean folklore and spirituality and religion as it relates to the study of this play written by Derek Walcott, Tijan and his brothers. And Act 2 in particular, when Mijan had to go out and encounter the devil, and I'm listening to the teachings of the mother, a wise woman, somebody who's old and have all the experience with good and bad, and she had warned her son about how he was supposed to venture out into the world, and he didn't listen, and in the end the devil was able to quote unquote eat him. When I think about that, I said to myself, isn't it amazing that sometimes God himself, whether through another person who might be there to you, a mother figure, a father figure, another friend, whatever the circumstances, pulls individuals out of a rut. But it's interesting when people use the same God that pulled them out of a rut as an excuse to put themselves back in a rut. It's interesting when people do that. You have to understand when you are taking your journey in life that sometimes it is your own actions that is causing you to be stuck in the rut. It is your own actions. Like, I sound like a preacher today, but if a data go on, because when you get the conviction and you know, so when you say the truth, you can't help yourself but to deliver it the best way that you can. So preach via preach. Let me talk about the things them now. I'm saying to you that sometimes, ever so often, God pulls us out of a rut. You ever wonder why your car mash up sometime and your car have nothing to go drive around, but you have to go some woman go and take the bus until you can get back one? A long time I did for part company with the car. I think about the phone that I am using now. If anybody knows me, you know that this would not have been a phone that I bought. Come on, this would not be a phone that I buy. Anybody who knows me knows that this would not be a phone that I'm taking my hard-earned money to buy, because these things are material and it's just not as interesting or, you know, appealing to me. But you know how I come to a phone despite knowing how long I needed a phone? I went to the market and in a split second I left the piece of phone, because that's what it was. I was still at a J, what's it called, a J prime. Not even anybody with ambition would not steal that phone, but somebody went in my car and take that out. I never feel no way. I started laughing and I said, but watch God, watch God. A long time I did for change the phone there, but I was stuck in a rut. I wouldn't move on and get rid of that to just put myself in a position now where I would have received a better phone or purchased a better phone that would allow me, give me the capability perhaps to do that which I am doing now, because everybody knows that I record on my phone and people talk about the video quality being so good, etc., etc. I was stuck in a rut. Sometimes you're there and some opportunities are to come for you and they don't come in the right time. You're not ready yet. You're not ready to receive it. Sometimes you are blocking yourself because God removes some obstacles out of your life. But no, you're going to lean on your own understanding. So what do? You run over there and put yourself right back in the rut. I was talking about the relationships that I would have had with persons. I am no longer at a place where I am going to sit and pine over people who were in my life that's no longer in my life. Everybody there, Sophia, season. Everybody is here for a season. Now, if you are that individual that is going to be true and true, let me tell you this, you're going to be there to the end like Chucky. When I see some persons have relationships with others that are tested in ways that are weird, especially friendships, I'm like, them are something I know, them are not friendship. Them have relationship that come in like relationship of convenience. Who can bow down to who? You know, who can take up somebody and play with them today like a toy, put them down tomorrow? Who can treat people like a light switch today, I turn you on, tomorrow I turn you off? And oftentimes in these vicious cycles, what do? We pick up crosses for ourselves and we put ourselves in a rut. Show me your company and I tell you who you are. That's a big deal for me. Show me your company and I tell you who you are. But because the moment I am not aligning myself with light, I'm going to see things around me tumbling down. No, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not trying to project this image that my life is perfect and that relationships don't have challenges. That's not what I am trying to say. But I'm trying to say that some of the things that people talk about, that are not me. When I say I put God first, I put God first. Anything God removed from me, remaining in a removed situation. People would have done me wrong before. And guess what? There's power in forgiveness and I forgive them. But forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Sometimes I have to forgive you. And as long as I've forgiven you, if I see you in the street, it is good morning and good evening, and that's exactly where I'm going to leave it. You can't be in my zone. You can't be in my space because you are not light. How many persons are allowing themselves to be stuck in a rut? Open your ears now. Open your heart. Listen, let me tell you something. There was a time too, you know, where I used to say, certain people can't come to me, come say certain things. I stopped that. I have stopped that. I am at a place now where when people talk, whether it is a barefoot man, one man with dress up in them at clocks, one woman in her long fake hair, or in her real hair, or somebody everybody would have deemed to be at the bottom of the pit, whatever. Listen to me. You see them here? I open them and I listen, because I have come to understand that the messenger is not always a man named jacket and tie. It's not always a girl that will suit up and look good and smell good when comfy talk. But God finds ways and means of using other people. Right now, I'm sitting down here and I'm making this video and I know I have a message for somebody. I don't know if the person watches this channel. It would be nice, because maybe they might hear this and figure that they may talk when I'm just talking about a conversation that ensued today with a friend, but I'm sure that there are many others who can identify with what it is that I am saying. Sometimes we have to be mindful that when God removes some things from our life, stop, run it down, leave it alone. So you have your issues, you have your things that are bothering you and they're weighing you down, and you tell me, say, you're going to put this to Christ. Then if you put it to Christ and you lay it at the feet of the cross, where you still walk around with it for? But what will it take That was the question that mommy asked me in the text message. What will it take for people to recognize? And the only thing I could respond to her and say is more hurt and more pain, because some people love that. If them not endure pain, them not learn. But what they need to recognize is that they're going to go through pain upon pain upon pain, hurt upon hurt upon hurt, crosses upon crosses upon crosses, until they get to a place where they see the light. What are you doing with yourselves? I want you to think about. Are you the reason you are stuck in a rut? So how do you get out of this? The first thing I'm going to tell you is prayer. Everybody know that I am highly spiritual. I don't like to get down into the business of religion. Yes, I am choosing the religion Christianity because that's what I grew up hearing and that's the teachings that I was exposed to. But at the same time, how many decades later in my own life, I am more spiritual than I am religious, because I realize that people are people, and whether you choose Christianity or you choose to be a Muslim or you choose to be anything else, one thing we cannot negate is that we were made from a God. And I want to believe that the God that made me is the same God that would have made you. And for that reason, irrespective of what we ascribe to as a faith, we are connected by one thing, and that is the Creator. So for me, I am no longer caught up in, are you a Muslim? Are you a Christian? Are you a Jew? Are you a whatever it is that exists out there? Or are you this denomination or that denomination? It really doesn't matter to me. What is important to me, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, if I have the boys and girls watching this channel too, is the heart, purity of the heart. That is what I'm interested in. You know that sometimes, it's interesting as I talk about stuck in the rut. You want to understand that going through certain roads and making certain decisions is not just deceitful to the people that are around you based on the choices that you make, and how people will sit on the outside and judge what you've done or analyze what you've done. So sometimes the choices that we are making is about us deceiving ourselves. It's about us thinking, oh, I am in this wonderful place and I'm in this good place and I'm on a particular journey, and the journey dictates that this is what I do. Watch God laugh after you. Watch God laugh after you, because and He has taken you over another hurdle, brought you through that valley, put you in a place now where you are on an upward trajectory, and He says, go forth and do what it is that you must. But what do? You get all emotional and you get up in your feelings and you go right back to Satan. You have to stupid. But the only thing that you can take comfort in is the fact that He'll allow you to go through it again. Maybe this time, what is going to make happen to you, I don't know how easy it will be for you to recover. Maybe the pain is going to be oh so great. You notice how slowly I said that? Because it's going to be immense. It's going to be intense. I don't know how long it will take you to recover from that, but the harsh reality is, people, sometimes we are the ones who are putting ourselves in that rut. We would have been taken out of it and we still put ourselves in there, forget stuck. How do you overcome this? It's called mindfulness. This is the month of May, and this is my own intention that I have set. I've asked, I said, God, for the month of May, I want to be more mindful. And in being mindful, I want God to remove from my life anybody, anything that is there that does not belong. Take it away from me. If I have to go be like a lonely Londoner walking down the street, I hold my own single-handedly, let that be my reality. But I am making a deliberate effort in this month of May to be more mindful and to ensure that my own actions will not cause me to be stuck in a rut. Remember, I told you that, and of course later on this evening, after I have really and truly gathered my thoughts and figure out how I'm going to offer some amount of counsel, and I notice I never said counseling, I'm just saying some amount of counsel to my friend. I'm going to call up and I'm going to try to have that conversation And perhaps this very same message that I'm sharing with you here is what I'm going to be sharing with him, because I don't take it that it was an accident or by chance that he should say to me, but you know, it's hard for you to tell me to put God first, because I do that and the door is either closed shut or it's a bit ajar. And I want to say that's because you still do something wrong. The moment you start doing something wrong is when everything is going to be right. So guys, just make sure you know, as I'm talking to you, sometimes this is how the word come, this is how the message come. Notice I didn't put this and entrench this in any kind of scripture. I'm just talking because I'm a principled person and I like to just go off what I believe might be common sense or whatever I just happen to know. I don't tap into this thing. I think it might be a gift from God, but I don't tap into it really. I oftentimes say to persons that I honestly believe that I'm claircognizant. I am just in a place where there is clear knowing. I know some things and I don't know why I know these things. I don't tap into it. I've never even prayed to God and be like, God, is this a gift that you have given me and how would you like for me to use it? Maybe that's something that I should do. I am not quite there just yet, but just moving through in terms of what I am saying to you. People, if this message is going to be for you, I don't know who it will reach. I hope when you're watching this, you can do some amount of introspection, think about what I have said and decide if you would have been allowing yourself to be stuck in a rut. May for mindfulness in May. Big up yourselves. Thank you so much for watching this video. You know the drill. You're going to like, you're going to comment, you're going to share, and most importantly, if you have not subscribed, now is the time for you to do so. I mean, what are you waiting on? All right, guys, so walk good, and I'll see you in the next video.